Hi folks, today we're going to talk about the crime of assault in the second degree in Alabama. And I'm going to give you an opportunity to play lawyer, and I'll give you some examples. You tell me whether or not you think the person has or hasn't committed the crime. You need to know that the crime of assault in the second degree can be committed in a variety of ways, up to 5, and there's probably more depending on how you count. But let's start with the most common way that we lawyers tend to see it. Most common way is if someone with the intent to cause serious physical injury to another person causes serious physical injury to anyone. Now, I'll give you a case and you tell me whether or not they're guilty. Guy shoots another guy point blank in the chest. Bam! Bullet goes in. Guy, he goes to the hospital. He takes himself to the hospital. He was shot with a small caliber handgun. He spends the night. They say, you're okay, go home. Other guy, the shooter, gets prosecuted for assault under that provision. Is he guilty? Well, if you said he's not guilty, you're thinking like the Alabama Court of Criminal Appeals, because they said he wasn't guilty under that provision. Why? To me, you get shot in the chest. If somebody shot me in the chest, I'm sure going to consider it a serious physical injury. But no, not under Alabama law, and that's because Alabama law has a strict definition of what constitutes serious physical injury. And that means that somebody has to have things like permanent or protracted impairment or disfigurement, significant disfigurement, and things like that. And what the court said is, sorry, it just didn't fit that definition. So under that definition of the law, this fellow wouldn't have been properly found guilty. Sounds crazy, I understand it, but if somebody shoots somebody in the chest and they're not seriously physically injured, is it assault second? You might think, well, no, it isn't, because of what this lawyer just said. You're still wrong. And that's because another way of committing the crime of assault second degree is if the crime is committed with a deadly weapon or a dangerous instrument. So I think it's pretty safe to say that a gun is considered a deadly weapon, and whether or not there was serious injury or not, under that provision of the assault law, the fellow would have been guilty. He was just wrongly charged by the prosecution. Now, what about other things? What is a deadly weapon or a dangerous instrument? Well, there's obvious things, gun, knife, etc. What about water? Can water be a deadly weapon or a dangerous instrument? The answer is it can. There have been examples where, the ones I've seen, have been where there is some scalding water and somebody dips a child into scalding water and they get injured, significant injuries, serious injuries, or injuries as a result of that. And the courts have said, yeah, it can be. So that's another way that the crime of assault can be committed, assault in the second degree. Now, let me give you a weird example. You tell me if there's a crime or what the crime is. You're in social circles, you're friends with Judge Fudge, and he's in your church group, and you think, hey, let me slip this dude a hash brownie. Wouldn't that be a hoot? And you do, and he gets pretty high, and everybody thinks it's funny. You video it, put it on YouTube or whatever. Has the person who slipped the judge a hash brownie committed a crime? That's also an assault in the second degree. And that's because if somebody slips someone an intoxicating substance or any other substance intentionally, it can't be by accident. If something spills in the brownie mix and it's an accident, it's an accident. But if they do that and that person has some sort of a negative effect, they get high, they get sick or something like that, that also is an assault second. What about if a kid gets mad, a college kid gets mad because he gets a bad grade and he punches his professor? Or somebody, their house is on fire and the firefighter says, I'm not going in for your cat. And bam, they punch the firefighter. What is that? That's also assault in the second degree. And the reason for that is that Alabama has a list of protected professions. And if somebody is injured, doesn't have to be seriously now, but if they're injured while they're doing their professional duties, that is an assault second. The most common version of this that we see is what I call the soccer cop provision. And police officer will be arresting somebody, there'll be a scuffle, and the cop will say, hey, I got, guy elbowed me in the nose or something. And so the cops will say, hey, that's a felony now, you injured me in the course of my duties. And my perception is that cops love to do this because they can elevate what might be a low-level offense to a felony because they say, hey, I was injured in the course of my duties. Now you got a felony assault second. So there you have it. Those are some of the basics of assault second. Assault second is a felony offense under Alabama, and the range of punishment under the statute is from 1 year and a day to 10 years in prison. I hope you found this video to be educational and informative. Of course, if you're in legal trouble and you want our help, give us a call. In the meantime, if you like these videos, please hit the thumbs up button for us, and if you want to see more videos on legal topics, hit the subscribe button below. Thank you for watching.